Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Heart and Soul. Today, I am joined on the couch with Sara Leonard.
Hello.
I forget I can lean back.
I'm not used to seeing myself.
I know.
So
It's weird.
I feel like I talk with my hands. I make a lot of facial expressions,
which makes it better.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good one.
Also, it's 8 a.m. on a Tuesday, and Sara just got done coaching a class.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest. I just woke up 45 minutes ago. I'm not getting ready.
We have no idea where this is going.
Oh gosh, we don't know where this is going. We don't know what's going on with my hair, but we're here. How are you doing? Oh wait, should I intro you? You've been on it a million times. This is Sara Leonard for all you new people who listen. All new people. All the thousands and millions of you who are new this season. Sara Leonard coaches for Soul. She's also my friend. She and I have very similar stories. I hired her after she was actually a guest on Heart and Soul, and haven't looked back since. That was 2021. So it's been almost 3 years of you being here.
That is crazy. I feel like we've lived 100 years in 3 years between the two of us.
I can't. It's been a really short about. It feels like it's gone by really fast, and also so long.
So long. We've been through it.
I need it. It felt like a decade and a year at the same time.
Yeah, true.
Okay, now how are you?
I'm doing well. Should I look at the camera?
You can look at the camera. Yeah, camera. Yeah, let's look at the camera.
I'm doing well.
Give the people what they want.
We tried to touch up our appearance. It didn't let us.
Yeah, there's this setting on this system thing that I use for recording video, and you can click touch up my appearance, so it makes you a little more clear, and it wouldn't even let the button press. It was not possible.
We look that rough today. So this is what you're gonna get. But I'm doing well. I feel very excited about this year and very at peace. And I don't really have any complaints going on.
Can you believe?
Not me.
Couldn't be us.
Couldn't be us. Yeah, it's very interesting feeling. It's a new feeling that I'm embracing. But my word for the year is joy. So I feel like I've really been leaning into that more than anything, and not avoiding things in a delulu way where I'm nothing bad is happening or nothing negative feelings aren't there, but more of just choosing the joyful parts. And that has really just shifted my perspective, and I think that's why I'm in this season of peace.
Yeah. And I think you also situationally your life is a lot better.
Yes, I completely agree.
You'll have this new apartment, your own space.
Yes.
It's closer to town. You have a full-time job that you love. You still work for Soul, which you love.
Great friends.
Great friends. Great community. Kyle's not deployed for a million years.
No, he's home.
Is he back?
He comes home March 3rd.
Yes.
But he's home. He's gone for shorter trips right now. My husband's a pilot.
My husband flies planes. It's fine.
But yes, I think Kyle and I have both done lots of work together too to get to this point. So it's just very refreshing. And we'll get into this about the Bible verse I've been seeing everywhere. But I had an aha moment at the last couple months at the start of the year where I just feel like I've let go a lot of control.
Yeah.
Where I perceived that I have control, but I actually don't.
Yeah.
And I'm wow, I just freed up a lot of space and energy in my life.
I perceive that I have a lot of more control than I do.
Right.
And then God just slaps me in the face and he's no, it's actually me. And I actually read on that, that girl on Instagram named Clearly Stated.
Yes, I love her.
I read the Monday or on Sunday, she posts a speak this over your week. And so on Monday during class, at the end of class, I always read it. And the last one was, I will do everything I can to focus on what I can control. not what I can't.
Right.
And then it's like, I will rejoice in being a child of God because he's in control. I'm like,
love that. Because when I feel like we focus on the things, we try and control what we absolutely can't control, I'm missing the places and parts that I can.
or
and
just
I'm
like the
not
freedom.
helping myself.
Yeah. Or just like the freedom to like let it be.
Right.
Like it is what it is.
Right.
My mom used to always say that. She still does. But growing up, she always used to say, it is what it is. And it used to kind of annoy me. But now I'm like, it really is what it is.
Literally, like there's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I can do. It is what it actually is.
So,
well, that sounds like you're in a much better place.
Yes, I think, because I think we always do a podcast when we're training for a marathon.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I can always like keep tabs and look back on, I think we did one probably this year, right before or after my March marathon last year.
Yeah, I want to preface that it's not when we're training for a marathon, it's when you are, but I am here. We've done one together, but that was like,
but you run with me. Kathryn is over 20 weeks pregnant and doing training runs with me, so she's a
one run a week.
bad A mother.
Truly.
Like she is.
Like I'm a mother and I'm a bad A. I'm a waddling mother. Like it's so humbling to one, get old, and two, get pregnant, because especially when you're like into athletics, because everything slows down. Like there's nothing you can do to like stop it.
It's just happening.
And then you see all these people who are like you follow these like Instagram influencers who are like pregnant trainers, and they're like kicking butt, but like they're only recording like 3 reps.
Right.
And I'm like, I need to remember that. Like they're actually dying too.
I'm absolutely.
Okay. That's just me.
They're not out there running 5 miles.
No, they're not.
They're not. You are.
Maybe they are, but they're waddling just like I am.
Yeah.
They're not.
You're pretty fast.
I don't know. We're actually kind of slow on Thursday. Like that's really, really sweet, but we are actually pretty slow. Remember where we used to be? Where I used to be? You're just humbling yourself on my behalf, and I appreciate it. How is marathon training going?
It's going well. It's going terrible, but
well, what do you just ask? I can't control it.
Yeah,
so I'm letting it go.
So back to the control thing. Anyways, I can keep tabs on like last year I would probably say like I was healed and like feeling really great after the marathon and like had learned a lot. But then when I like think about how at peace I am now versus last year, I'm like, oh my God, girl.
Yeah.
You had a lot to work on. And you did it, but
you did the work.
I did the work, but I was not as good as I am now, I would say. So marathon training. Every season of training, I feel like I learn something that equates like back to my day-to-day life. And this training season has been so frustrating and so difficult because I don't have as much free time as I have in the past, where I like circumstances prior, I was able to like run whenever I wanted. I was able to like do workouts whenever I wanted, just based on owning my own business or previous jobs I had where like I didn't have to drive to work and things like that. And now I have a full-time job, which I absolutely love. But it does take up more time, and I have less time to focus all my energy on running. And it really hit me a couple weeks ago because I was still feeling frustrated. Like I was like trying to fit a puzzle piece still, like, and I'm like a month out from the race now. Yeah. So like this is like almost towards the end of training where I'm like, this is the week I'm going to do every run and do every sprint workout and do every like leg day. And it hit me that I'm not supposed to be preparing for this race the same way, because he's brought me out of the place I was before.
Yeah. Like you have so much more freedom.
I have so much more freedom.
Even though your time isn't free.
To focus on other things in my life. Because that's what he wants for me. When we were training for our marathon together, and then in October of 2022, and then the March marathon last year, all I could focus on was running because that was the only thing that could get me out of bed.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't run, like listen to a few podcasts ago, like it was a dark time for me. So that's what he brought to me to serve me and to like get me out of bed, to get me disciplined and focused. But now I feel that the message I'm receiving is just like, let go.
Yeah.
Like, do what you can. I don't want you to focus on running 6-7 days a week because you have done the work and have so much more freedom to go out with friends, to give time and energy to your job and your team and your husband and your house. And my mind I'm not so grief stricken and depressed and anxious that is the only thing I can focus on now. Yeah. So it was a very freeing moment.
Yeah, that's huge. It makes me think of like which I know you can relate, like when I was in my eating disorder, like all I could think about was food and exercise because I had nothing. I had left no space for anything else in my life.
Yeah.
So it almost like what I felt like when I started eating healthier, I'm using air quotes, and well, you can see me. But people who aren't watching on YouTube, I'm using air quotes, eating healthier. Like this is how it all started, is like eating healthier and actually exercising because I never did. Like that seemed healthy, but then it became an idol.
Right.
And so like sometimes when you're trying to distract yourself from whatever is like negative in your life or you feel like you're running away from, you dive so far deep into something that can actually become like very unhealthy for you. And it starts as healthy. Like, running a marathon is like so healthy.
Right. Right.
Like what? And then, but if you're using it as like a distraction to like cover up like what you don't want to deal with, then you're just burying stuff.
Exactly.
So now you're in this place where like, I'm equating it to food again, where like now when I go out to a restaurant, I don't think about calories on the menu.
Right.
I don't Google the menu 3 hours before and like, figure out what I'm going to eat or what I'm going to order or how I'm going to eat what I order.
Yep.
Like, what am I going to leave behind? How much? Now I just go.
Yep.
And that's kind of where you're at right now with life, is like, you just go to work. If you have time, you go for a run. If you have time, you go on a date with your husband. Exactly. If a friend asks you to go to dinner, you go to dinner. And it's so much better to live, or more freeing to live that way and not be the fastest person on the track.
Yes.
Because who cares at the end of the day if you qualify for Boston or if you can run a, I don't know, 6-minute mile, whatever people run these days.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Could never be me.
Who cares? Like at the end of the day, who cares?
Right.
What really matters is how you're pouring into people, how you're being used, or how you're using the time that God's given you in these other areas of life.
Yeah.
I
totally agree. Yeah. And running.
And that's freeing. And running is like fun now.
It can be fun and it can still serve as like a meditative practice and be a way to be disciplined.
Yeah.
But it's no longer something that like I have to like sacrifice other things for. And I really like felt his voice just saying like, let go, and you're going to run this marathon. Like you're going to do what you can do to get there, but you've got to just
take the pressure off.
Like you're not going to be able to prepare for this next season like you have before because I've already prepared you that way before.
Yeah.
So like this is new and this is a new season.
Yep.
So I feel like he's saying, I don't want you to do it the same way.
Yeah.
Because
I'm doing a new thing.
I'm doing a new thing for you. And you're trying to fit an old puzzle piece that I don't want you to live there anymore. I don't want you to live in a dark place where all you can focus on is like getting out for a run because that's the only thing that's keeping me like alive.
Yeah.
Like that's just not, and that's also very exciting where I'm like, oh my gosh, my eyes are just open to all of this like possibility and like where I can spend that time and energy in my life.
Yeah. And it's gradual how it happens. Like you don't realize the shift until you've shifted.
Mm-hmm.
I've been helping this girl, well, as best as I can. And I'm going to leave all this anonymous, who's like in the thick of disordered eating right now. And we'll just hop on a phone call every couple weeks or so, like as a check-in. And she's like so in the thick of it that she can't see that there could be another side. And I remember being there, like but the thing is, I've gotten so far removed from it without even like gradually, without even like realizing the day it shifted. But I'm so far removed from it that I have to actually go back to a different place to remember what she's saying, and then like, or what she's going through. And then like when she says things that she's experiencing or doing, I'm like, oh my gosh, I did that.
Right.
And that's like the freeing part when you've like gradually done the work, gradually been healed. And then you can like hindsight look back and be like, look how far you've brought me without me even realizing, you know, like in scripture, you see all these like moments of miracles, which are beautiful, where like Jesus literally brings someone from death to life.
Right.
Like that is a moment where you're like, I remember being healed.
Exactly.
I overcame.
Right.
But then what life typically is and how God works in our lives is gradually, like teaching us new lessons, giving us new relationships, giving us new experiences, removing old relationships, removing old experiences. And then one day you're out of it.
Right.
And you're like, whoa, like that's a miracle too.
Yes, it is a miracle. And when we like try to keep forcing the old relationships, old experiences, what we knew or were comfortable with, we completely miss all the things that he has prepared for us. And I thinking back like to a year ago when I'm like, oh, like I was healed, like I felt great. I was not.
And the thing is,
it's like now is the miracle.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, we think, like, you even think like, oh, I'm good now. But like then a year, like we're always healing. So like a year from now, you could look back on this moment and be like, remember when I was like, joy, joy, joy? Like, look at me now. I'm so much better. You know what I mean? It's so like, true. I mean, life is a roller coaster. So, you know, you could next year be not in Jesus' name, but in a low.
Right.
And then he could pull you back out because that's just how life is. It's like mountains and valleys. But like, we're not even at the tip top.
I know.
The tip top isn't even on this earth.
I know. Which is, that's also freeing.
Like, I don't have to have it all figured out.
No. Like, we just need to give ourselves so much grace because we have so much going on and like we're just doing the best we can. And I gotta share my Bible verse.
Yeah, do your Bible. Share your Bible verse.
I feel like this also happens when I train for a marathon. I like
start
seeing, I think it's because when you're running for 4 hours by yourself, you're just like, your mind goes anywhere and everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And so I feel like my mind's very clear, so I can see these things. But the numbers, so the last set of numbers I saw last year was 555, and this time it's 222. For those of you who don't know, my mom has always encouraged us, me and my siblings, to like look for signs from God, and with numbers specifically, like what Bible verses are like, is he trying to speak to you with? So I just looked up 222 in the Bible, and because you know I'm a great believer, and I know every Bible verse.
I'm super theologian.
Yeah, so
some would call me a theologian,
right? Yeah, some may call me like the best one.
The best Christian? I don't know.
That's why I have to read it from my phone. So Daniel 2:22 says he reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in darkness, and light dwells with him.
Ooh.
And that's so powerful to me because relating back to the control thing, when I'm trying to control these moments in my life, I think that like I'm like hiding things from him.
Yeah, you're
I'm
like,
like,
oh,
I
he
don't want
can't
him
see
to see
it.
this, or I don't want to bring this to him because it's too much, or I don't want to face it. There is nothing he doesn't know.
Yeah.
There's
In
not
fact, he knew it before you even knew it.
there's not a dang thing that he doesn't
Yeah.
know.
You can't get past that man.
Like-
I tell you what, he's good.
Like, and if you think you can, like I laugh because I think we both think of God and Jesus as like a friend.
Yeah.
And like someone who's just like, oh Jesus, like here you go again.
He got me.
He got me. It's like he will push me until 2 weeks ago where I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like I gotta let go.
But and the thing is he's patient like that. Because we look like a bunch of bing bongs down here on earth. Like, how do you not know? That's how I imagine like I would be like with William when he like won't not run. That was so wrong grammar, but he just only runs. And I'll like sit him down like at H&M on Sunday and I'll be like, we walk. I know he knows what the word walk means, but he's like sprints off. And I'm like, how do you not know? Like,
Right.
that's how I feel as like a mother. So like he's probably God's looking down on us being like, these bing bongs. One day they'll get it. But it's so patient because he's like, I'm gonna wait for you till you get there. Yeah.
Yep. Like he knows what lies in darkness. Like he knows. So one, there's no reason to be afraid. And two, I just gotta let go a little bit.
Yeah.
So he can like work the light in my life. Because if I'm trying to hold on to like what's in the darkness, he can't show me what's there for me.
Yeah.
Is that English?
He can't show things that there. I feel like we just took everyone to church. And by we, I mean like you. Like, way to go, preacher.
He's just like, the spirit is moving within me.
The spirit is moving. He's always moving. I've been speaking of the spirit, like my biggest insecurity with like the church as a whole, the big C church, is like spiritual gifts. And God is, because I get really insecure about them. And I compare myself a lot to like what other people can do. And like, am I not spiritual enough? Are they like more spiritual than I? Like, do I not have the same Holy Spirit in me that they have in them? Like I go dark.
Yeah.
And literally in this season of life, like quite literally in this last month, our church did a sermon series called By the Spirit. So it's all about Holy Spirit. And then Michael and I are doing this this online Zoom discipleship thing that's all about like recognizing your spiritual gifts and your unique personality and how you can use your unique personality to like bring about spiritual gifts. And I'm like, hello, you up there?
He does in fact hear us.
He does. And
what are you learning though?
Well, I'm learning that like I'm still I'm very much a work in progress. Like I will shut down. I'll go dark after like a community group. And these people, like I feel comfortable with them completely, but I just compare myself to them. And like, so like Michael and I will be leaving a community group, which you would think you'd be on some like super spiritual high. And I'll be like in the car ride home, just like silent. Like, and it's like the enemy just like creeps in and he's like, you don't got what they got, basically. And then I'll be reminded of my unique personality because it's unique. Everyone's is. And my unique gifts on like moments like these where like we're sitting down podcasting and talking and like he's using gifts here, or when we're coaching a class and at the end of the class, like we're leading a devotional and something comes to us and we're like, that was the spirit. Yes. Like he is in us. It's not just how these people do it. Like it can be like this. And then those people can't do this.
Exactly.
And so it's like these moments where I'm like highly encouraged and I'm like, okay, God, like you are in me.
Yeah.
Just like you're in them, you know? But then it's like what I need to be better at is figuring out how to like silence the enemy's voice in the other moments where I'm like, oh, this isn't my like my floor to like use my gifts, I guess. Or is it, and I'm shutting myself from
Mm.
it because I'm so insecure?
Mm.
Like, am I limiting myself?
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember one time, like, Michael's like the most introverted person. He's very introverted. He's very meek. He's not like some Christian who like shows off his spirituality, but he's very, very.
I'll tell you one thing. Every time I come in here to teach a class,
He's reading the Bible.
That man is reading the Bible.
Reading the Bible and journaling. I'm
6:30
like,
in the morning.
is there anything? Do you do anything else? Like sometimes I feel that way. Like I compare myself with him, but he's not like a gloater or like.
Right.
He's very humble. So when we were dating one time, he was living in Austin, I was living here, and I did this thing, this cute little thing when I was dating people prior to like marrying Michael, where I would try to like give them every reason to break up with me. Like I'm self-sabotaging this because at least like you'll get out before it's too late.
Right.
And like
I'll show all my cards.
I'll show it all. You're gonna leave now for sure. And I like went to Austin. He actually ran a marathon that weekend. He ran the Austin City Marathon. That's why I went to visit him. And then like I stayed a couple days after, and I got in my head about something. I don't even know, but I did this thing, and I still do. Clearly, I'm not healed yet. Where I just shut down because I got really insecure. Maybe I think it was because I went to one of his church groups there. And I'm like, you have all these freaking phenomenal females around you, and you're dating me in Wilmington? Like, what? So, anyways, I got in my head. I shut down for like almost 24 hours. And he's like, he just like has me sit on his lap, and he's like, I just need to pray for you. Like, you're dark. Like, you're in a dark place. And he's praying. It's very like, I'm like feeling some peace. I'm like, okay, this is working. And then all of a sudden he just like casually didn't know. I did not know that this was a gift of his. Just like starts speaking in tongues a little bit. And then goes back to like English. And I'm like,
I didn't know this about Michael.
Who would? Because he's so humble. Like he doesn't just like throw it out just so people know like I can speak in tongues. And it was that was one of those gifts anyways that I would be like, you're right. Like, are you just like showing off? Like, are you really speaking in tongues? Like, are you really speaking some like foreign language with God that only he can understand anyways, I used to judge that hard.
Right.
But this was a moment where I was like, no, this is like really pure. Like I've been dating him for 6 months at this point. I didn't even know he could do this, and I'm probably one of the closest people to him at this point. Anyways, I remember after that, I was like, okay, back it up. Like after he prayed, I was like, I feel a lot better. Thank you. But like, what was that? Like, I didn't even know that was a gift of yours. And he was like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I can. Like,
just happens.
Like it just happens, like when spirit leads, I let him lead. And I'm like, okay. And then he was like, and then I was like,
couldn't be us.
That's what I said. Basically, I said something like that. I was like, well, couldn't be me. And he was like,
the spirit lead you.
He was like, well, it actually could. Like, have you asked him? And I was like,
oh gosh,
no.
Michael's gonna drop the truth bomb.
I was like, why would I ask him? That's silly. So then all that to say is like, I'm not just talking about speaking in tongues because since then I've asked him, he ain't giving it to me. So it's not something that like came to me after that moment. That's not one of those stories. The story is like, do we limit ourselves, or do I limit myself with like my gifts because I'm listening to the volume on high of the enemy's voice, and I haven't even thought to ask God to clear out the noise.
Wow.
Because I'm like,
it's very powerful.
I'm like, is that even an option? That's an option.
Right. But that's
even
not what we go to.
Not even the option of like, it's not even the question of like, God, give me the gift of tongues. The question could simply be like, can you silence this noise?
Right. Can I have some clarity?
Can I just have some peace right now? Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I'm the Prince of Peace.
Right.
Anyways, I'm preaching to myself because I guarantee on Thursday night when I go to community group, I'll probably be driving home in silence, like in my head again. But now I know, now I have a little more clarity of like what I can ask God in those moments.
But also maybe not. Maybe on Thursday,
maybe I have a low moment.
You do like you said, when we're in that room, I mean, I would say probably 9 times out of 10 when we go in there, we don't know what we're going to say at the end of the class.
No.
We've talked about this before. We're Googling Bible verses
Sometimes.
at the end. Or prayers. Sometimes I have a general idea. But like, I feel like in the space you've created with Soul, you welcome that subconsciously. Like, you welcome his spirit in that space.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done some very powerful, like,
things in that
crazy
room.
things in that room.
Totally.
Sort of like speaking in tongues that if we talked about it, people would be like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, so maybe it's like,
maybe I'm putting like a ladder of gifts, and like up here is tongues, down here is soul, when like they're all leveled,
right?
Because they're all drawing people near to the spirit.
Yes. Like, this space actually has a very spiritual feeling to it.
And we prayed over that when we bought the house. Like, we prayed over this room, we prayed over that room, we prayed over the driveway. Like, I prayed over the porch, everything.
When people ask me about soul, and like I tell them how like everything was already set up to be soul when you bought this house, that in itself is like a gift that he knew you were going to use this space. So can you like tap into that, like you're in a space like soul when you are feeling?
That's a good challenge.
Like in your community group, like, can you treat that space like you treat this space? And like ask that to come out of your heart. And
even if I don't speak like someone else speaks, what I have to say still matters.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because Lord knows we're saying all kinds of things in there.
I can't shut up. Look at us now. We didn't even know what we were going to talk about.
I mean, I feel like I can like feel it moving through us right now.
Like,
it's crazy.
Are you sweating? No, but it's 8:45. Like, we just did a whole podcast.
It's 8:45?
Yeah. Like, we freaking did it. We literally came on, or last night we were texting each other. We're like, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? And I was like, I don't know. Like, we can always just talk about Taylor and Travis.
We didn't even get there.
I know we didn't even get there. But like,
but you did talk about them.
I talk about them pretty much every other week. But look at this moment.
Look at us.
Look at it. Look, would you look at us?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Look at us. Thank you for hopping on the podcast.
I love you.
I love you too.
This was great.
Listeners, love you. If you're not watching on YouTube, what are you doing? We have
Don't
a YouTube.
You want to see this?
Don't you want to see all that we have going on for us? No, but seriously, you do want to see what wrecks we are right now. On a physical standpoint.
Our gift today is not our appearance.
It's not our appearance. But seriously, if you haven't subscribed on YouTube, I don't even care if you end up watching on YouTube. Can you just subscribe? Just like show a girl some love. It just helps. I really want to be like a famous. No, I'm just kidding. I really just wanted to have this option for people to watch the show, because some people like only YouTube, which is weird. I don't. But also, if you haven't subscribed on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, do that now and leave us a review. I'll be back next week with another guest. And then the week after that, Melody Wiseman is returning for some pop culture moments. All right. I love you, Sarah. Have a great day. And you listening, you have a great day. Bye. Bye.